Grapevine trunk disease is a long-term challenge for the industry. The long and short is that between when vines are infected, there's a latent period and then the vines end up dying.
We don't really see the manifesting of the disease till about 15 years of age. The New Zealand industry is about to hit a bit of a peak in terms of replanting. So a lot of those vines are getting into their early 20s. This is where trunk disease is starting to really cause economic issues. If everyone was trying to replant their blocks at the same time, there wouldn't be enough vines to supply.
Remedial surgery is essentially a process to cut the vines off as low as we can above the graft and attempt to eliminate as much of that disease part of the vine as possible. So then what's left is healthy and can regrow and restore the productivity and profitability of the vineyard.
Our involvement has been to provide a couple of trial sites. We chose the blocks that we knew had a bit of disease in them. A lot of what we've learned is around different timings of making the cut. Is it better or worse for the vines? And then how training those new trunks rejuvenates them.
You know, the data is data that's never been seen before in the world. Simple things like the difference between winter and spring cuts are making very little difference in the fact that the pathogens have moved further down the trunks than we would expect. So it's actually teaching us that it's quite complex what's going on in the trunk, and the best management strategy is just to go as low as you can with your cut. The project involves 3 different varieties, many thousands of vines, and so then each year over a 5-year period we are doing remedial surgery on the vines, different treatments each year. We do inspections, assessments, dissect those trunks, and we also look at diagnostics to see what pathogens are present and what part of the trunk those pathogens are present.
In the last year we've been harvesting some of the remediated vines and recording the yields, and we are starting to see a difference between the vines that didn't have staining at the cut site versus those that did. What we're trying to determine is how the amount of staining affects the longevity and productivity of the vines.
We've shown that when we cut the vines and regrow them, within 2 to 3 years, we're back to the same production we had prior to the remedial surgery, and in fact, we're starting to see increased yields compared to the diseased vines before. But what we really want to understand from this research is what does it mean when you have still some staining left? How much staining can we maintain in that trunk and still get a productive life out of the vine?
The results are really positive. You've got to back it up with good science, and being able to see those results is proof of what we thought we would see. What we've learned is that it really is helping, and we have already started implementing some of these practices on our other blocks as well.
It's really pleasing to see how our research is benefiting growers already, making growers intervene hopefully earlier and thereby increasing the longevity of their vines as well as increasing the productivity.
It's going to be really important going forward to monitor these trials, to see what happens in the next 5 to 10 to even 20 years from now. And then when vines succumb to the disease, we can go back and we know exactly what that vine looked like on the day that it was remediated. This work is showing that the earlier you make those cuts, the more likely you are to get ahead of the staining, which is the infection of the trunk disease. If we can encourage the industry to make this remedial surgery strategy earlier in the life of the vine, we've got a really good chance of increasing the longevity of these vines without having to replant them into the future.